today, my hope is for you that it will be just like that. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. What is this? The box. Okay, the box. Now, just an idea that we all have a box, and I want to just talk about the box for a few minutes. I want you to go into kind of an imaginary land with me for just a minute and imagine that you have a box like this, okay? And that somehow you have magical powers to create tiny beings who live in the box. Okay, I know it's kind of freaky, but hang on. Okay, but let's imagine you got your little people in the box. All right, now the people in the box are pretty excited about the box until you shake the box. Imagine if you're a little bitty person in the box and you shake the box. What happens? Huh? What if you do this to the box? Woo! Or this, or that, or whatever. So the box. So what if that could happen? What if this was your box and you could create tiny people that would live inside the box? If I did that, you'd be hollering? Yeah, I guarantee you would. Or this. Yeah. So your tiny people are in the box. All right? Now. But you get to live out here in a world outside the box. What if the people inside the box are permanently sealed up in that box unless they are able to find a way out of the box, but the only way out of the box is through a thing called the mystery. Okay, so they're trapped in the box. The only way out of the box is the mystery. You're outside the box, seeing what you see, knowing what you know, traveling where you go, meeting the people you meet, having the meals you have, going on the vacations you've been on. You have people that live in the box. Now, if you wanted to send a message to the people in the box, what would your message be? Come out of the box. Okay, what else would your message be? What would your message be to the people in the box? There's so much more outside the box. What else would you tell them? Come out of the box. Don't go back in the box. But what if the only way out of the box is through a thing called the mystery? Do what? What if the mystery was a process that would translate them from one form, tiny people living in a box, to people that are unbounded by a box? But that in order for them to go through the mystery, they've got to give up the box. What? It's worth it? You would tell them that. You would have the audacity to come into their box and tell them it's worth it. Don't be afraid, we'll help you. What would you say to the people in the box? You teach them the process. How do you go through this mystery? How do you be translated from people bound by the box to people outside the box? All right, couple of things. You're really big. If I try to get into this box, I have a problem. What's my problem? I'm too big for the box. The box can't hold me. But let me ask you a few things. Do I know things that are bigger than the box? Huh? Yes or no? Would I be wise or unwise? Just think about this one for a moment. To give the people in the box a choice about whether they ever leave the box or not. About whether they ever come out into a life to play in the big playground with me or whether they stay in their box. Would I be wise or unwise to give them a choice? Would it be fair or unfair for me to give them a choice? But what if... Okay, so the people in the box, they have a perspective. What's the perspective of the people in the box? What's their vision limited by? The perimeter of the box, right? So they say, but what if it's really colorful inside the box? Maybe I painted it really pretty inside the box. And I put pretty colors in there and I have a little light bulb that lights up, turn it on, tick, in the day, and I turn it off at night, and you put a little night light over in the other corner. And it's nice and cozy in the box. And maybe there's some cool things to do in the box. Put a little playground in the box for them to play on. You have little friends in the box. Okay? So, let's talk about this for a second. How can I get my message to the people in the box? Voice, I could speak to the box. People in the box. People in the box, there's more. It's wonderful out here. You wouldn't believe it. It's outstanding. I can't even describe to you how big this place is. It's fantastic. You should come out of the box. Okay, I could do that. What else? Send a friend. All right? A little friend. Make a mini-me. Okay? Yeah, so I'd send a mini-me into the box with a message. Write a letter. Okay, so I could send a letter in. I might send a mini-me with a message. And let's go back and revisit. What are some of the things I would say to the people in the box if I could send a mini-me messenger into the box? That a mini-me messenger has been out here with me, that's seen what's out here. What would I tell the people in the box? Have faith in what? In the outside. But what's outside? Everything. What? Things that are much better, but what if I really like my box? Would this be hard news for the people in the boxites to hear? Just crush the box. What about all the people's puppies that are in the box? I don't want to crush the box. So what do I do with this? I'm trying to send a message to the people in the box. So I send a mini-me into the box. Then the mini-me has a message about a life outside the box. And I'm trying to tell these people who've never seen outside the box, who can only imagine the box because it's all they've ever known. It's all they've ever seen. They know the smell of the box. They like the smell of the box. It's a pretty good place to live. It's nice and warm. And most of the time, it's an okay place to be. Until occasionally, some people are translated out of the box by the mystery. And I hate the mystery. Hate the mystery. Because it means that I don't get to see them in the box anymore. But my mini-me messenger tells them about the mystery. It says, hang on. Hang on. The mystery is not the end. It's just the beginning. The mystery isn't the final chapter. It's the first verse. The mystery is just the beginning of real life. I would have trouble believing the mini-me messenger. I wouldn't be able to understand very well the mini-me messenger. I'd be saying, now what? This doesn't make sense because all I've ever known is the box. My whole world is the box. I'm thinking about the box all the time. My universe is the box. And no matter how high I peer up into space, all I can see is the top of the box. That's all I know. But my mini-me messenger would do his best to tell them about the life outside the box. My mini-me messenger might say something like this: trust me, there's more. Go with me to more. Pretty soon, I'm going to be translated out of this box by this great mystery. But you're going to see me again after this mystery. And then you'll know that I'm the master of the mystery. Then you'll know that there's more outside the box. I would tell them through my mini-me as best I could, think outside the box. Think outside the box. Don't stay trapped in the box. There's more. There's more outside the box than there is inside the box. Life is better outside the box than it is inside the box. And I would ask my mini-me to invite them to follow him through this mystery, to come out of the box into a new place, into a playground and a life that they can't even imagine. A place where there's more than we can see. A place beyond the box. That's what I would invite them to do. Now I'm going to ask you to go into some scripture with me today with the idea of the box in mind. And I want you to look inside the scripture with me, and I want you to try to help me, and let's work together to figure out what is going on when God sent his son Jesus into the box to tell us something we needed to hear. So to do that, I'm going to be looking at some scriptures. I'm using the sermon note card. It's on the back of this. If you have this, you can go along with me. The scriptures are here. Mark 8, 31 through 33, that's where I'm going to be. So you can dive into those in your Bible or whatever it is you have, or on the sermon note card. And this is Jesus speaking to some of his followers, specifically to some of his closest followers, the closest 12 followers. And I want you to hear what Jesus has to say. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. And he said this plainly. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But turning and seeing his disciples, Jesus rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man." Now let's talk in terms of box and non-box. When Jesus says, you're not thinking about the things of God, you're thinking about the things of the box. And I'm trying to tell you about things that are outside the box, Peter. My Father, God, has a view of the universe that's bigger than this box, Peter. And all you want to talk to me about is the box. And I'm telling you, Peter, I'm getting ready to be translated outside the box by this mystery. But I'm going to come back. And Jesus tells us elsewhere that I'm going to go outside the box. I'm going to prepare a place for you outside the box to be with me and my Father. But I'm going to come back. And if you'll follow me, if you'll take me as your way, if you'll take me as your path, if you'll take me as the guide through the mystery, that I'll take you to be with me outside the box. And that's really good news. But the Creator of the people in the box chose to give us a choice, didn't he? We can choose to stay in the box. And we can choose to believe that all there is what I know in this box. I'm bound by the dimensions of the box. It's all there is. And we can become very literal and we can become very scientific about the box, because some of us like the box because we can measure the box. We know how big the box is. Let's say, for example, just for example's sake, we're sitting here together in this worship center. And this is our box. Can we measure this box? Yes or no? Yes. What if you had been born in this box? I hate to say that. What if you had been born in the box, had never been outside the box? It's possible. It would be miserable. However, you might kind of like it. I mean, if this is all you'd ever known. You have a little artificial light. Occasionally we show you a movie. We bring in popcorn sometimes. We occasionally, I don't know if we let you out to go to the bathroom or not. I'm not sure how that would work. But somehow, anyway, we're in the box together. And we're kind of, we think this is it. We can measure the box and we can prove the box, right? You can prove the box, right? It's here. You can touch the box. You can go to the walls and you can walk from one side to the other and you can pace it out and you can say, I think it's this big. And then you can think it's this high and it's that big. This is the box. We live in the box and we can prove the box. We like the box because it's something we know. Hard to imagine, but what if that mini-me person was dropped in from outside this box and he said, hey, listen, it's sunny outside. We go, well, what's the sun? And it's going to be about 60 today. It's going to be magnificent. It's been February. It's been icy. And we go, what's ice? This would all be climate controlled. This box we live in, all climate controlled. Kind of nice, but kind of boring and kind of drab. But if the mini-me messenger came in here and told us there's more outside the box, would you believe them? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Would the creator of the box be right or wrong to give us a choice in whether to believe or not? Without choice, is there any possibility of love? Without choice, is there any possibility of faith? Without choice, which, by the way, I take as a great gift, I don't know how it'd be translated out of this life into the next by the mystery of death. I don't know how that happens. But God, in His wisdom, chose to give those of us in the box a choice about whether to listen to his messenger or not, about whether to hear the good news of the resurrection of Jesus Christ or not. And so in this interaction of Jesus with Peter, they're before the death and the resurrection of Jesus, right? They're before. Jesus is predicting what's going to happen. Why is this bad news to Peter? Why is Peter so upset? Let's look at what was going on in Peter's universe. Peter was a part of people called the Israelites, or the Jews. They were under oppression by the Romans and by a local puppet government. What did Peter want to see happen? And all of his other Jewish friends, what did they want to see happen in the box right now? Yeah, they wanted the Jews to become kings again in their own territory. They wanted to throw out the oppressors and the people that occupied the box with them. They want to get rid of these people. They want them to be gone. And all that Peter and his contemporaries can think about is getting outside the box. Everything that Jesus has said to Peter and the people that follow Jesus, all of his followers there that Jesus is speaking to, all of them have a box mindset. Jesus is trying to break their box mindset, because inside the box, all you care about is what's going on inside the box, right? But Jesus is saying to them, there's more than what's going on here, Peter. Why is Jesus so harsh with Peter? Why does he say to him, "Get behind me, Satan"? Why is Jesus so adamant in his phrasing to Peter? Because Peter's mindset is deadly. When you believe that all there is the box, it is death. It is the end. So Jesus had to break his disciples' mindset that all there is the box. He had to say to them, there is a God outside of this box, Peter, that sees things differently than you do, and he's about to do something through this death that I'm going to encounter, this mystery that I'm going to encounter. He's going to do something that's magnificent. So Peter, you can't stand in the way of what God is about to do. You must get behind me and let God's agenda rule in this box at this moment, or these people will be lost. So this is big news that Jesus has delivered to people that are only familiar with the box. But Jesus is saying to Peter, think outside the box, Peter. There's more. Don't be trapped by your box thinking. And I wonder, if God entered our world today, if Jesus came directly into our presence today, what would he say about your box? What would his news be to you today in your specific situation, to the person sitting in your seat? What would the news of Jesus be about your box? Where are you bound by your thinking about the box? Where's your thinking more like a person who can only see inside the box and less like God's vision of life outside the box? Where would Jesus say to you, get behind me, Satan? You don't understand what God is doing. Don't buy the box. Don't believe that the box is all that there is. There is more. Jesus, in this prediction of his death, also predicted something more important, that he would go through the mystery of death and that he would experience what we call the resurrection. And I take Jesus' resurrection as historical fact. It was seen by hundreds of people. It's backed up by the lives of the early followers of Jesus, the people of the way, who bet their lives on the fact that Jesus came back from the dead. If Jesus did not come back from the dead, then we are hopeless, and there's no reason for us to be here today. But if he did come back from the dead, and I believe he did, then this is the most important news ever, isn't it? Because it tells us there's more, there's life outside this box. Don't believe that when a person is translated outside the box by the mystery that that's the end. Don't buy that deal. Don't buy that that's the end, because Jesus said I'm putting an end to the end. I'm stopping the stopper. I'm overcoming the Satan so that there is more outside the box. And if you'll take me as your way and your truth and your life, then you can go with me into life outside the box. And this is really good news, right? So when Jesus comes back to life, he's showing that he has power over the box. And this is what we all need, isn't it? We need power over the box that we're in. We need power outside of that box. The power of outside the box, the power of the resurrection is what changed the heart of a terrorist named Saul. This terrorist would go town to town, and he would seek out people that followed the way of Jesus, people that believed in this resurrection. And when he found them out, he would have them killed or at least tortured. And scriptures tell us in the book of Acts that this young man Saul was holding the coats of people that murdered one of the early followers of Jesus. The first martyr we have any record of, a young man named Stephen, who believed in the resurrection of Jesus. As Saul watched this young man die, who proclaimed the resurrection of Jesus, his hope in Jesus, of a man outside the box, somehow that must have penetrated Saul's heart. Later on, Saul has an encounter with Jesus Christ himself. And his life is translated from being a terrorist to being the greatest missionary of all time, the greatest missionary of the good news that this Jesus Christ has indeed risen from the dead. From one who persecuted the way, he wanted to kill the way of Jesus, and who wanted to stomp out the news that Jesus was raised from the dead, to one who would bet his life over and over and over again that Jesus did indeed raise from the dead. So Jesus' prediction before his resurrection became true, and he did raise from the dead, and then even people after that resurrection bet their lives on him. People like Paul and Peter and so many other early followers of Jesus bet everything they had on this resurrection, on it being the greatest hope that's ever been spoken to the world. This is really good news. This is the news we need to hear, that there's life outside the box. We've got to think outside the box. You see, Jesus was God's translator to those of us in the box. And he's saying to us, I'm your way out of the box. I'm the truth about the mystery. And I'm going to overcome the mystery that translates you out of this box into a life outside the box. If you'll take me as your way, you can go with me too. But he does leave us a choice. We can choose to stay inside the box and not follow. We can choose to only be bound by what we can experience in the box and by what we can prove about the dimensions of the box, and we can stay right here. But I believe that there is life outside the box, and it gives me great hope. Why does this matter today? Why does it matter that there's life outside the box? Let me tell you why this matters. Because in this book right here, are several funeral services that I've preached. And the only thing that gets me through those services is a belief and a hope, a trust, a faith that there's life outside this box. If this box is all there is, then we are indeed hopeless. But I believe there is more. It matters to me today in a particular way, because this afternoon, Julie and I will drive through Richmond, Kentucky, and pick up our daughter Evelyn, and we'll drive to Corbin, where most of my family still lives, and we'll go to the visitation of my Aunt Linda Taylor. So I want to read to you her obituary. Linda S. Taylor, 74, of Corbin, passed away Thursday, February 5th, 2015 at Baptist Health in Corbin. She was born in Harlan County, a daughter of the late Roscoe and May Jones Mitchell, my grandparents. Sons Gary Lace Taylor and Daryl Dwayne Taylor. Daryl was my cousin. And man, we used to have a great time. But he died way too young, even before his mother did. And if I didn't have a hope outside this box, I don't know what I'd do. Linda worked as secretary in her family's Corbin Home Improvement Company. During this time, she was deputy Knox County court clerk working from her office. She had been an active member of Calvary Baptist Church for 56 years. That's where I first heard the news outside the box, that there's more. Through the years, she was teacher of the Truth Seekers Sunday School class, the assistant teacher of the Koinonia Sunday School class, leader of the WMU, serving as special missions director and secretary of the Long Range Planning Committee. For more than a decade after 2000, she and Bobby lived in Florida, where she belonged to Faith Baptist Church, was WMU director there, and made 2 trips as a voluntary missionary with the Florida Baptist Convention. Linda is survived by her husband of 56 years, Bobby Taylor, 2 daughters, Kimberly and Janie Taylor Pennington, 6 grandchildren, 2 great-grandsons, 3 sisters, one of whom is my mother, 3 brothers, and numerous nieces and nephews, and I'm one of those. Linda's life will be honored during the service at 1 p.m. Monday at Calvary Baptist Church. If I didn't think there was more, if I didn't believe there was more, this news would be more than I could bear. If I thought this box was all there is, I would indeed be hopeless. But I do not believe that this box is all there is. I do not take Linda's passing through this mystery to be the end of her life. I see it to be the beginning. I do not see it as the end of hope. I see it as the beginning of life. And it will be hard. It is hard. It's hard to let people live outside the boxes to go. But Jesus' promise is true. And his resurrection is the mark of the trueness of his claim to overcome death. Jesus overcame death. He is our hope. He's a translator through the mystery out of this box into a life beyond this box. And that is really good news. But we got to think outside the box.